Sons and daughters of MILFs, how has your mom being super hot affected your life? My mom had a relationship with my 5th grade teacher, flirted with all my friends as well as my sister's boyfriends. Then she divorced my dad, who's a pastor. I would say she was a poor role model. Now she lives with a dentist in a $5 million house with an ocean view in Florida. It led to a lot of lewd jokes by my friends growing up, which I had to hit them for. Also, sometimes my dad would talk about sex with my mom in front of other people, which was awkward. Not like graphic description, but it's weird to listen to your dad mention his active sex life to your high school football position coach. But yeah, from 13 to 18, there were lots of, "Kijaffa, your mom is pretty hot, dude. I wouldn't mind getting some alone time with her." To which I'd have to respond by saying, "Fuck you, dude, that's my mom." I mean, the alternative would be saying, "Yeah, my mom is pretty hot," which is just fucking weird and unacceptable. Not my mom, but my dad. As some background, he looks a bit like Thor in the Avengers movies. He's Norwegian too. Throughout my childhood, my friends and their moms always told me how good looking he is. It didn't help that he was newly divorced. I was always so uncomfortable when they were like, "Wow, your dad is so good looking," or "I see where you get your looks from." When we go to dinner, women, and the occasional man, will buy him a drink or make any excuse to talk to him. Went on vacation to a resort in Arizona, everyone stared at him. People will ask me if he's my boyfriend. I'm 18 female and he's 45 but looks about 35. It's annoying. Edit. Everything turns into, "I'd bang your mom," after any argument. I can't seem to have a normal discussion with no one. Growing up, my mom modeled for Harley Davidson and No Fear. My friends all made comments, and I would act like it bothered me, but it really didn't. Not like it matters, but I wouldn't have preferred an ugly mom. She had great confidence about her that she instilled in my brothers and me. The drawback was, I was a child of divorce, and my mom had no shortage of random dudes wanting to get it on with her. And of course, they would pretend to be really into her kids for a while, until they broke up. Then we'd never hear from them again, of course. It made me more annoyed than sad, though. I knew a girl in high school who had a mom that was pretty young and very attractive. It was something that bothered her a lot and caused her self-esteem issues because whenever they would go anywhere, her mom would get all the attention and was the type of person who loved it. The guys at school would also talk a lot about how hot her mom was and always made jokes about it, which she usually brushed off, but you could tell they bothered her. My mom is really hot and it sucks because I feel like, as her daughter, I kind of have to live up to how she looks. Friends are always telling me that my mom is awesome and it makes me feel awkward, lol. She's really stylish though, so I get to borrow her clothes a lot. Typically, I would get jokes about banging my mom, always laughed it off and moved on. Then into high school, I realized that it was a backhanded compliment of sorts. Then started turning the tables on the jokers. They'd say my mom is hot, blah blah blah. Then I'd say, "Yep, that's why I look normal, and you and your mom look like the offspring of Chris Farley." They stopped after that. Well, both my mom and dad are hot. Growing up, I was dreaded with the "your mom is a total MILF" statement, so I stopped having friends over. Then when I was older and needed to do a group project, I invited my group over. There were some girls in my group, and when they left, they kept telling me that my dad was really cute and good looking. Nobody is ever allowed to come over anymore, ever. I had more friends, but at the same time they paid less attention to me. It was okay though, because every time she walked by, I would be the only one paying attention to Smash Bros. My mom was 21 when she had me, making her one of the younger moms among my peers during school. All my guy friends were in love with her, telling me they'd wank over her every night, etc, etc. Classic British boy stuff, which was gross. I had a situation where I had a crush on a guy and I invited him to my house. He only accepted the invitation due to my mom being there and only dated me for 3 weeks just so he can look at my mom. Awkward. A lot of, "Is that your sister?" and "Wow, your mom is beautiful," every time a friend meets her. Every time. It's unfortunate I got none of her good looks. I always worry that a date will see her and no longer be interested, but it hasn't happened, so it doesn't affect my life much. Just your usual teenage self-consciousness, doubled. She's a hot sociopath, so she went out of her way to be mean to her female relatives due to her confidence in her looks. She thought I was ugly, would call my sister fat, mocked her sister for teenaged acne, and lectured her niece on not getting knocked up because the niece was hot enough to have guys coming around to try to do that. IOW, her style wasn't to build up other women. I never heard her compliment another woman. I had terrible self-esteem as a kid and teen. I felt ugly and unwanted. The only upshot to my mom's beauty craziness was guys were put off by her shit attitude and laziness. She lost her looks and never had an LTR after my dad divorced her. TLDR, karma catches up to some attractive sacks of crap. I'm a dude. I've been told quite a few times that my dad is pretty hot. I've also been told by different people that I look just like him, so it makes me feel pretty good about my future. Beef21, you look like an attractive 55-year-old. Wow, thanks. I get weird middle-aged teachers and mutual friends come up and say your mom is quite pretty, and then just trail off and still look at her. It's weird, but weirder still when they later say I look a lot like her. She's obsessed with her appearance and looking youthful. People have said that she looks like she's in her 20s. She's about 45, so it's not just her opinion. Anyways, I can't stop thinking of her as old. She looks young but never acts the part. She has the attitude of either a crabby grandma or a cheery grandma. I don't think I've ever seen her do something youthful, like dancing or singing, or even much laughing. Ironically, I am less than 18 and look like I'm in my late 20s, early 30s. Yes, we're both Asian. Basically, friend, dude, your mom is hot. Me, shut up, Brad. Friend's dad. No, really, your mom is hot. Me, shut up, Mr. Mackey, and thanks for the ride. There was also a time I got out of a ticket because of her being attractive. Well, I was always larger than my friends, so any comment about my mother usually resulted in a good punch to the arms, chest, kidneys. Hey man, your mom is stacked. You ever seen her naked? No, and you should shut the hell up. For real, dude, total MILF. Fuck you, Joel. Punch his sternum. Ow, fuck man, I'm just saying. My mom has double D fake boobs, bleach blonde hair, and has an attractive BMI. I always was told by the guys how hot my mom was. Never was really a bother when I was in grade school. Now that I'm 26, it's still not too much of a bother, but she is always very preoccupied with how she looks. I just wish I could go in public with my mom without her always so made up. As a female, I do like to look pretty in public, but sometimes I'm just in jean shorts, a t-shirt, and no makeup. My mom is unable to do that. I don't care that she gets attention. If that's her prerogative, I'm glad she is happy, but I can't empathize with the constant need to always be done up. For example, one Christmas morning, we were all in the living room, so in pajamas, no makeup, hair unkempt, and someone was taking a picture of the whole family. My mother was covering her face and trying not to be in the picture, essentially making a scene, because she was not ready. I mean, we're all family here. We love you with and without the makeup. That's what bothers me about having a MILF. The MILF life has consumed her, I feel. She has also recently started tanning after years of telling me that it causes skin cancer. I feel like she has forsaken herself to look hot. So, in short, it hasn't really affected my life as much as it has affected hers. I'm just on the side watching my mom become devoured by her double Ds. At first, it really bothered me, especially if the guy commenting about it was someone I had a crush on. Lots of, hey Jeffiosaurus, tell your mom I said hi. Eventually I got over it because the more I thought about it, the more I realized I was proud of my good genes and that while my mother is gorgeous, she's also one of the kindest people I've ever been around. She bends over backwards to help those she loves to the point that it's detrimental to herself. Sadly, despite being as hot as she is a forever alone recluse that works all the time, hangs out with family, or housebound. I noticed my mom being super hot, and that's why people were always acting odd around her when I entered puberty. So, like a horny teenager with no other women in his life, I started to fap to pics of her in a bikini, and later I started to spy on her. When I was 17, I was spying on her in the shower and she saw me. She angrily shut the door and said, "We'll talk about this later." Holy fuck, I was dreading that talk. So yeah, later she came into my bedroom to discuss what happened. I sat on my bed with my head in shame, so it took a while to notice she was only wearing a towel. She came to sit next to me, and in a tone of voice that I have never heard from her before, but that I definitely liked, she said, "AskReddit hates when their fap stories don't have a happy ending." I would like to share how it has affected my grandson's life, grandson by marriage. My grandson's mother is drop dead, 10 out of 10, beautiful, tattooed, triple D, fake boobed, can of crazy. She is an escort at golf tournaments. Rich guys will fly her with them on a jet while they go away for a 4-day golfing tour without their wives. She brings back around 7 to 10 grand. My grandson is 7, turning 8 this year. She expects his hair to be perfect. In the morning, it takes at least 20 minutes to get his David Beckham style right. Afterwards, he's not allowed to play because he will end up messing up his hair and clothes. She never read to him or taught him his ABCs, so he was really behind in kindergarten. Her entire care and love for him is not for his education or being kind. It's being entitled and getting whatever you want whenever you want. How has this affected him? A lot of his feelings are buried. He hates being called stupid in school because he's just learning how to read in 2nd grade, so he internalizes a lot of his emotions. One of those, and I hate it, is excitement. For example, I took him to Disney World. When I told him, he just looked up and said, "Okay." The reason behind this is because his mother made and broke promises for exciting trip after exciting trip, so he figured it was never true. A child without excitement is like having all the magic in the world taken away. He has a hard problem making friends. He stands out like a sore thumb, wearing designer jeans, shoes, shirt, and his hair done up, and they live in the shittier part of Houston. All that money she makes goes to laser liposuction, Botox, and laser hair removal. Makes it near impossible for him to make friends. He has no people skills because his mother doesn't. She's entitled, a sex object, and had pulled him away from anyone close, i.e. his father, his father's parents, my husband and I are all that is left, but she's already pulling him away from us too. How he sees her, he understands what his mom is. She wears very scantily clothing, always has guys in her rooms across the hall from him, so he's not stupid. He doesn't know the depth, but he understands a portion. Him and I are very close, and when his mother is around us, we have to put up this front where we don't say anything to each other because she could get jealous, and he knows that when that happens, she tears him away. It's a sad life because being super hot takes work and a narcissism that must come along with it. Who knows what his future holds, but I hope every day that he is going to make it through just fine. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. It's free.